Hello, everyone. Today, we bring you a very interesting story about a lazy boy who, surprisingly, turned out to be quite clever. By the end of this story, we'll understand how even a lazy person can push themselves, work harder, and overcome their laziness when the right moment comes. And that's not all. As we go through the story, we'll also learn some new English words and see how to use them in sentences. So make sure you stay with us till the end. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived a young boy named Ryan. He stayed with his parents in a small house on the edge of the town. Ryan was known for being extremely lazy. Every day, he helped his father in the fields. But his task was simple. He only had to scare away the birds that tried to eat their rice crops. Most people used sticks or slingshots to chase the birds away, but Ryan didn't want to walk around too much. Instead, he came up with a clever trick. He built wooden poles around the field and tied ropes between them. By pulling those ropes from one place, he could frighten the birds without standing up. This way, he could lie down in the shade and still finish his work. His father worried about Ryan's lazy habits and often wondered, if I ever fall sick, how will this boy manage everything? But since Ryan always completed his task, even in his lazy way, his father never scolded him harshly. One summer, during a long dry season, Ryan's father suddenly became very sick. Now Ryan had to take care of the entire field on his own. He tried his best, but he was not used to real hard work. After a few weeks, the crops began to dry up because they did not receive enough water, and Ryan couldn't save them alone. That night, Ryan sat outside under the quiet sky, staring at the stars with a heavy heart. He felt useless and disappointed in himself. "Why didn't I ever try harder?" he whispered. "If only I wasn't so lazy. Maybe I could have saved our crops. Now my family's hope is gone." The next morning, when he walked into the village, he noticed a crowd gathered near the marketplace. Curious, he went closer to see what was happening. A royal soldier stood on a wooden platform and was making a big announcement. He declared that there would be a grand competition at the king's palace, and the winner would receive a large chest filled with gold. Hearing this, Ryan's eyes lit up. "This could save my family," he thought. Without thinking too much, Ryan stepped forward and announced that he wanted to join the competition. The villagers burst into laughter. They whispered, "How can someone as lazy as Ryan win against strong people from all over the kingdom?" But Ryan didn't care about their comments. He packed some food and left early the next morning because he had 3 days to reach the palace. His parents were unsure if he would succeed, but they hoped this journey would change him, that it would help him understand hard work and responsibility. After a long and tiring journey, Ryan finally reached the palace grounds. On the third day, the competition began. All the participants gathered near a large, sparkling lake. Many of them looked strong, tall, and well-trained. Seeing them made Ryan nervous. "How can I defeat these people?" he wondered anxiously. Then the rules were announced. The competitors had to cross the lake, and only the first 3 people to reach the other side would move on to the next round. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1, go! All the participants jumped into the lake and started swimming with full power, but Ryan stayed on the shore. He knew he wasn't a fast swimmer. "There's no chance I can win if I try to swim like them," he thought. Suddenly, an idea flashed in his mind. Instead of entering the water, he ran toward a nearby forest. Inside, he found some broken branches and wooden pieces. Using the materials he found, he quickly tied them together and built a small raft. He picked up a long branch to use as a paddle. "This race is about crossing the lake," he told himself, "not about swimming. I may not be strong, but I can definitely be smart." Meanwhile, the swimmers were getting tired in the middle of the lake. Many of them slowed down, struggling to keep moving. Ryan pushed his little raft into the water and started paddling slowly but steadily. As he floated forward, he passed several exhausted swimmers. Even though he didn't move very fast, he didn't stop or get tired. By the time he reached the other side, only 2 people had finished before him. Ryan came in third, just enough to qualify for the next round. The spectators watching the race were shocked. Nobody expected Ryan to make it forward. Ryan felt proud and relieved. Once again, he had used his mind instead of physical strength. The next morning, the final competition started. Each contestant was given a huge wooden block. Their task was to push the block for 1 full kilometer until they reached the finish line. Behind them stood a table filled with tools. Each participant was allowed to choose only one tool to help them. As soon as the signal was given, the first contestant grabbed a long rope and wrapped it tightly around his wooden block. He began pulling it with all his strength. The second contestant picked up a thick wooden bar to use as a lever, hoping it would help him lift and move the block. Ryan, however, didn't rush. He calmly observed the tools and the blocks. "I can't win by using muscle power," he told himself. "If I want to beat them, I must think differently." After carefully studying everything, he reached out and selected the smallest item, a simple knife. The crowd gasped in confusion. "What is he doing?" someone whispered. "How can a knife help him move such a huge block?" The other contestants smirked, sure that Ryan had made a foolish choice. But Ryan had a clever plan. Instead of pushing or pulling the heavy block, he knelt beside it and began carving it with the knife. Slowly and patiently, he shaped the block, cutting the edges and smoothing the sides. People watched in silence, unsure of what he was trying to do. Minutes passed, then an hour. Ryan kept carving, shaping, and trimming the wood, until finally his block was no longer square. It had become round, like a large wooden ball. Ryan stood up, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and gave the ball a small push. It rolled forward easily. Meanwhile, the other contestants were struggling badly. Their heavy square blocks were barely moving. They pulled, pushed, and lifted, but progress was extremely slow. Ryan gently pushed his wooden ball again and again. Each push made it roll faster and farther. Soon, he passed both contestants and moved closer to the finish line. Ryan kept pushing the wooden ball with determination. The finish line was getting closer with every step. The crowd's excitement grew louder as they watched him. People clapped, shouted, and cheered for him, amazed by his creativity and intelligence. No one had expected the laziest boy in the village to become the smartest competitor in the kingdom. Behind him, the two strong participants continued to struggle. Their heavy wooden blocks refused to move smoothly. They pulled as hard as they could, but their blocks barely slid across the ground. Compared to them, Ryan's round wooden ball moved easily with each push. Finally, with one last strong push, Ryan sent the ball rolling across the finish line. He had won. The entire crowd erupted into applause. Even the king's guards were surprised by his victory. Ryan was declared the champion, and he was taken to the palace where the king himself praised him for his clever thinking. The king awarded him a large chest of gold. Just as promised, Ryan was overwhelmed. He had entered the competition only to help his family, but he ended up proving not only his intelligence, but also his ability to change. His victory wasn't due to strength or speed. It was because he used his mind and believed in his own ideas. When Ryan returned to his village with the gold, the people welcomed him with admiration. His parents hugged him tightly, tears of pride in their eyes. Ryan realized that the experience had changed him. For the first time, he understood the real meaning of effort, responsibility, and smart thinking. This story teaches us a powerful lesson. Even people who seem lazy can achieve great things when they find a strong enough reason to change. Ryan didn't suddenly become hardworking because someone forced him. He changed because he finally had a purpose, saving his family. That purpose pushed him to think creatively, work harder than ever, and believe that he could succeed. In our lives, too, laziness often slows us down. We avoid tasks, make excuses, and wait for motivation to magically appear. But when we discover a meaningful goal, whether it's supporting our loved ones, following our dreams, or proving something to ourselves, we find hidden energy inside us. Through this story, we also learned new English words and understood how to use them naturally in sentences. Remember, learning English becomes easy and enjoyable when you practice regularly. Reading stories, repeating phrases, and trying out new vocabulary can improve your English faster than you expect. So, if you ever feel lazy, think of Ryan. Don't give up. Don't wait. Take one small step forward. A big goal can push you to work harder and bring out the best version of yourself. Thank you so much for listening to this story. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep growing every single day. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you again in the next inspiring story.